Alrighty. So I want to make sure here, this is not a defense of imperialism specifically, but this is more of a, let's talk about why does the right, if you will, have become so, opposed to interventionism? Why is that? Well, the simple answer is that for the most part, the working class folks are the ones that end up joining the military. Why is there so much of a push for the U.S. Army to get more POC folks and more lesbians and whatnot into the military, as opposed to white Southerners that join the U.S. Army or join the Marine Corps or whatever, right? They're the ones that are fighting and dying for it, and they're not getting the benefit. It's that simple. The thing is that you could at least say with British imperialism, old school British imperialism, is that at least there is a chance for you to go overseas, and maybe you'll bang an Indian chick or whatever, bang you a brown Indian chick so you can get your jollies that way, or you could get you could get some more money by doing that, because I imagine they paid you better if they sent you over to the other parts of the empire. It's the same thing, kind of like what Top Gear was saying about when they went to Africa, is that they were hoorays on a leap year, as they said, hoorays on a leap year. So they got a chance to go all over and discover Lake Victoria and all that, and travel around Africa and say, oh, it's awful, there's lions and tigers and bears, oh my, and all this. When in reality they're busy, banging, melanated chicks and shooting whatever they feel like, and drinking to their heart's content, and getting that sort of adventure, Whereas U.S. imperialism isn't really like that, is it? It's kind of like the Doge meme of, I know this is an old meme at this point. Now is we've moved on to, who wants a pussy eaten out? That's a new meme, I guess. Anywho, but the Doge meme of like the big strong, I get to go all over the world and with no consequences. Where the weak virgin U.S. imperialism is, we have to stay in our little fobs in Afghanistan. That's really what it is too. You have to stay in you had to stay in your little fobs in Afghanistan. You'll occasionally get attacked by the Taliban, and you go all over. You don't actually do nation building, as like neocons say, or liberal hawks. They weren't nation building. They were sitting, they were doing police actions. That's all they were doing. It's kind of like with Vietnam, right? It was a police action. They weren't winning anything. They weren't trying to win hearts and minds, because they failed at that miserably. I mean, are you going to talk with a government or with a a country that's come in there that is protecting poppy fields and, maybe building a hospital or a school here and there? Or are you going to work with the Taliban, who at least live in your country, and everything else, Like I say, the U.S. also created more of a secret sort of, I use this term because I've just heard it before and it sounds cool, but these wet work groups, these folks that come in, and anybody that's suspected of like terrorism or like Taliban stuff, and they come in and kill them. And they're trained in the U.S., and they just come in. I cannot think of the name of the organization offhand, but they'll just come in and just start killing Afghanis for no good reason. So people are going to support the Taliban. But so why is it that, the right, so to speak, and the left to a point, they are against interventionism? Because guess what? Interventionism does not benefit the average person. It doesn't. At least with World War II, you got the GI Bill and you were able to actually get a job. Nowadays, the GI Bill doesn't mean much. It's like, okay, yeah, you have to be in the military, this and that to do it. Okay, you can be in reserves, but, it's a fairly stagnated system. And even then, even if you got your degree, Does that mean you're going to benefit from it? You're going to end up in the same. You're going to end up in the same holes as a lot of folks. You're competing against everybody else. We have the image, at least, that veterans are going to get better service or whatever, and we know that's not true. We know damn well it isn't true. Whether it's the scandals at VA hospitals, et cetera, et cetera. I know people are going to say, oh, the VA hospitals are better than that now, but I'm sure they are. But they still have a very crapola reputation about it. I don't see a big PR move by Veterans Administration to say, yeah, our facilities aren't crap like they used to, back in the early 2000s, when Eric Shinseki visited. What is it? Like I say, there's a strong move to say, yeah, don't join the military, both on the left and on the right. But, more center, I'm sorry. Let's keep up. Yeah, the third position is say, don't join the military, because all you're going to be doing is fighting. I'm not going all the way there. You can read between the lines about where I was going with that, but you're going to be fighting in wars that benefit corporations to make money. It doesn't benefit you in any way. You get a little bit of combat pay and then you come back and you're unemployable, and you're living on the street. Maybe you're addicted to opioids or whatever, right? That's what happened in the Vietnam War. We had plenty of vets, who came back who were addicted to heroin or whatever the case may be, and they were strung out. And arguably, I would say the U.S. has done a crap job. They hate their veterans. Whether you want to say it's because of the left when we call them baby killers and whatnot, versus today where we'll say they're such heroes for liberating Iraq and Afghanistan, but fuck you basically when it comes to actually finding a job, right? That's why, in my opinion, anyway, people are or isolationists, or at least push themselves as that, because guess what? It doesn't benefit them. Why am I going to war when it's not going to benefit me? When it's not going to stop terrorism, this and that? It's not. Guess what? The terrorism still occurs. It just comes from internally, or people from the inside, and not from people from the outside. It's not 9/11. Now it's Timothy McVeigh, right? So that's my basic view of why I think, generally speaking, isolationism exists today. Because guess what? This interventionist stance doesn't benefit the ordinary person. Guess what? They still live in shit conditions. You still have a country that, really doesn't give a shit about them. So why pretend, we need to go over there. It's like, same thing with what people like Muhammad Ali said. Ain't no Vietnamese that ever called me nigga. So they say, why do I need to mess with those Vietnamese? We got problems here in this country. Why don't we solve them? There's no response. Anyway, that's all I got to say on that. Hopefully y'all enjoy it. See you later, and goodbye.